Another day, another new Oasis t-shirt, but most excitingly for us all, this is the one that I've been listening to all day, every day. Very, very inspiring lyrics. Loads of people are loving this one from the recent Oasis live tour, which I didn't manage to get tickets to, but it's fine. I'm over it now. But this one has some very unusual chord positions. A lot of people think they know how to play this song based on the root position chords, you know, G, D, A, but there's a little thing that Noel Gallagher does throughout this song, which is kind of unusual. Also, a nice, easy-ish solo to learn. So it's definitely kind of beginner level stuff here with a little tweak here and there. But we're going to run through little by little from Oasis on the channel. If you love Oasis, do subscribe because there's loads of other tracks we've done. Supersonic, Live Forever, Songbird. There's a chord sheet for Wonderwall in the links below as well. All free. Just subscribe because it helps support the channel. But let's dive in now to the intro of Little by Little. So the first thing you get is a few chords before the lead in. C. 3 of those, normal root position C. And then you get this sort of half G chord with the second finger on the A string. And then you've got the full G chord for 3. And then you have an open set of notes. So the bottom 4 strings just played in an open way before you land on the first chord, which lots of people think is just E minor. But actually, it's E minor with an F sharp in, which is super fun. And that's followed by an A7, A major 7 there. So the cycle of these chords is basically this, and you use your first and fourth fingers to get to that chord there. And then once you've hit that position, use your second and third fingers to hit that A7 there. So let's just go through the cycle. The other thing to say is that there's a tremolo, so I'm going to turn on the tremolo here. And these settings are almost perfect. Really, you should increase the rate. But I've set it for another song from Green Day, and I cannot unset it from it because it took me so long to find the settings. But it's a bit like this sound. I'll do a little insert on the screen just to show you the settings that I currently have, but like I say, maybe just slightly increase the rate of the dip just to make it sound a little bit more accurate to Little by Little. Then, on top of all of that, you've got a few little twiddly bits that get played throughout this tremolo effect. So you've got this E minor chord, then you get the little twiddles afterwards, so... And then you change. And you get a few more. By the way, on the official video version, it misses out 2 of these chords here, and also there's another bit missing from the outro later, so very annoying to see that. But I put in a repeat mark on the tab just to signify where the extra bit is on the album version of the song. Let's go to bar 6. You get this. And this bit is worth saying that it's played like this. So with the 4th finger on that 3rd fret on the B string there. And then that's really the intro done. You turn off your tremolo pedal and you're basically onto loud guitar. There's also an acoustic guitar over the top of all of this that mimics the chords that we're hearing now. And the acoustic guitar is just very much doing quite a simple strumming pattern you get. And that continues throughout the song, so when you get to the chorus you kind of get So the tremolo's off, we're on the bridge pickup and we're nice and loud. There's an acoustic guitar doing its thing as well, but we're going to focus on the hardcore electric that's going off. So you can strum pretty freely, particularly if you're playing, along with the live versions. But I'll just show you what's happening in terms of the left hand. So you've got a normal D, and then what you do is you add in the thumb onto the bottom string on the 2nd fret. And there's a little up pick that sort of anticipates the change to the G chord. So overall you get... And the G chord is super interesting because it's another one of those that loses the low B, so the low third, the major third in the root, and you just get this kind of more power chordy sounding G. You have this, like an Oasis Wonderwall type chord, you've got this E minor with the 3rd and 4th fingers in the top on the 3rd frets. And Noel plays this in an unusual way because in the pre-chorus section here, he mutes out the D string. And then the next thing he plays is this A chord with the 1st finger flattened across. But later on when he plays those chords, he uses the 1st and 2nd finger. I think that's purely to make this section sound a little bit thinner. Whereas when it's later, it's... Also, as we're going to see in the chorus in a second, he very much keeps the 3rd and 4th finger down for most of the whole pattern and moves his 1st and 2nd fingers almost religiously in a pattern. So he kind of, I can see why he's done it like that, because when you're doing the faster changing chorus chords, which we're about to do now, it's like easier to remember if you're playing the song kind of when singing at the same time. So let's go through it now. We've got this sample picking pattern. We've got this G, and he sort of places the 1st finger there, but then lifts it up. So it's this power chordy G. So he takes everything off except the 3rd finger and then goes over to the D. And we've got this A, then the E, thumb version of the D chord with that anticipation of the G coming at the end of the bar. And that's something that happens quite a lot. So that whole sequence again, you've got... That's how it kind of sounds exactly like the album. I've watched loads of live versions of him doing that to make sure it's 100% right. Then we go round again, so... There's a little twiddle there in bar 18 with the pinky. And then it changes up here. We have this C with the 3rd and 4th fingers in the top. And it changes to the G, but instead you are pressing down the 2nd fret on the A string. So this is a bit of an unusual chord here. It's like a D with the 2nd finger taken out. And I do that alternate picking. Back to the verse intro type section. Tremolo comes back on, but this time there's loads and loads of variations, so we'll talk about that in our next video. Thanks for watching this part though. I hope you enjoyed hearing the true way that the chords are played in Little by Little, and that 3rd finger down does make such a difference to the way it kind of sounds. And just to demonstrate what I meant earlier, the 1st and 2nd fingers almost move for every single chord change, with the 3rd finger staying down. So it does make the sequence a lot easier if you do it how Noel does it. The only exception is that G, but he does move the 1st finger there into position and then kind of takes it away and lets it be muted out with that sort of fat second finger. It's a bit unusual, this one. So we've got our cycling chords like we had in the intro. So we've got this E minor, and then we get over to the A7, back again, and back to this, and then back to the E minor one, and then again we go. So it's a kind of an unusual pattern there, especially at the end. You've got the faster, and it does do that little pinky hammer-on pull-off as well on the B string on that 3rd fret. Then we're back onto another pre-chorus section, which we're going to run through now. So the tremolo goes off. Just lean over and do that for you. And because this is very similar to the previous pre-chorus, I'm just going to run through it in the same way that we've done before. So it starts off with a slightly different pattern though, on the D. So you've got to take the pinky off from this chord. Then we change to this power chord version of this A. Changing over to the normal way of playing this chorus. Back to this C. So we're on the 5th fret here, on the D string. So make sure you do the vibrato on that that note there. So not the world's most difficult solo, but we just make sure you get the rhythms right. Get that riff around again. Then we change over the string. Then you get this bit up here, 2nd finger. Little bend on that as well, then back down we go. Up to this A on the B string, 10th fret. And that falls into chorus 3, which we're just going to run through very quickly now because we've done it before. So it's all the same good stuff that we've had before. And then we've landed on the outro solo, which is kind of the first of the final 2 parts of the track, which I really love. It's kind of up here. Okay, here we go then. So it took me a while to work this one out. We're on the 11th fret on the G string, 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, but there's a couple of dead notes in between, so with a bit of vibrato as well on the 14th fret the first time it happens, so. And then you jump over to the B string with the 2nd finger. And then slide out again. So next line, bar 63. Slightly changes there, so there's a little held note. Slide it out again, then we have one more time. Then we're into bar 67. So that's pretty straightforward. In the live versions, they tend to go with a little bend instead of the... So we finished the solo, and that is a D chord underneath, bar 69, and then you get this, and it cycles. So guitar 1, let's call it, cycles between these chords. There's a few little twiddles, so I'll just run you through those now. So we'll carry on with the G and bar 70. You get this little open G in the D, and you get the G again. And then if we carry on to bar 75, you'll see the first appearance of what I call the whale motif. So the whale motif is achieved by essentially having a bit of reverb on the guitar. Let's put some reverb on. You don't need to be that specific about the settings. My chair's squeaky. And you have this kind of sound. But you pre-pick the note when it's bent, so the 11th is bent up to the 12th. Pre-pick and bring it in. So, and then you dip it again. And then again. So that's how you achieve the whale motif. Let's turn the reverb off because there's other things happening as well. Oh, that chair needs a bit of oil. What happens beneath is that the chords cycle until suddenly they get a little bit more interesting in bar 77. And by the way, that whale motif carries on all the time. So this is what happens underneath. So the underneath notes change a little bit as has been tabbed out. The last one is the most interesting one in bar 85. And then we're out of there. It fades away into the distance. That is the end of Little by Little from Oasis. Hope you enjoyed that. It's such a fun one to play. Very emotional for me at the moment, particularly lyrically. But anyway, that's the tab. Peace out. We'll see you in another video. And if you like Oasis, like I say, do subscribe down there and become a member. It helps us out so much on the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again.